Today we're going to take a few minutes to talk about the realm of control, focusing on what you can control in athletics and letting go of everything else. This applies to everything we've looked at in this series, being able to manage our emotions, work towards our goals, maintain a positive mindset, and find success in athletics. The reason why this is so important is because there are so many uncontrollable things that happen in sporting events and in our lives, really. There are only a few things that we can control, and by focusing on those, it allows us to ignore all of the other pieces, or at least set them aside, and the only thing that will bring us success is what we actually do. So let's start by talking about what we have control over. And there are a series of things that we can control. The first, and probably the most important, is our mindset and our attitude. We have the ability to control that in competitions. Despite what other people say to us, despite what might happen, we have the ability to control our mindset and our attitude. And by empowering ourselves to control that, we have the ability to not let things that are outside of our control get the better of us. So first and foremost, we want to make sure that we go into athletic contests and practices and training with the right mindset and the right attitude, that we are going to focus on what we can control and we are going to ignore everything else. The second thing that we can control is our training. We can control what we do in practices, how much effort we put forth, how much we focus, how much we try. Nobody can put in the work for you. Only you can do what needs to be done in order to be successful. So by putting all of your energy and effort into that every single day, guarantees that you will do the best that you can do when you go up against your competition. Focus is another thing that you can control. It's not always easy, and again, it might take practice to be able to do this successfully. But especially when there are a lot of other things going on around you, your ability to stay focused can lead you to success. You might see other athletes losing focus and losing their composure, and your ability to maintain that regardless of what happens, whether you're having the best or worst game of your life, will give you the ability to continue moving forward when someone else might break down and give up. And that goes along with that emotional regulation, being able to maintain composure, being able to stay positive and look at challenges as opportunities to improve are only going to help you as you move forward and you continue to grow as an athlete. Sleep and nutrition are other areas that you have control over. Staying up really late the night before a competition or eating foods that aren't fueling your body so that you are energized and ready to compete are going to be detrimental to your ability to perform. Generally speaking, you do have some control over that, and doing your best in those areas are only going to help when it comes to athletic competitions. Maintaining a high energy level, again, can be challenging. We all go through those ups and downs of different levels of energy throughout the day, but doing your best to stay up as much as you can for as long as you can and working on that on a regular basis so it becomes easier and easier in each athletic contest you go into is going to help lead to greater success down the road. And what you say and what you do. You don't have control over what anybody else does or what anybody else says, but you do have control over yourself. By staying within this realm on a regular basis, you are going to be able to drown out a lot of distractions that are not going to be productive and are not going to help you find success in your sporting endeavors. So let's talk a little bit about what is outside of your control. Things that we should let go of, things that we should not give our energy and our focus to because it's not going to help us in any way. The first one is the opposing team. The other team's scores, their ability, their lanes, their attitudes, their comments, right? We have no control over any of that. And it's so easy to get hung up or upset about it, but it's not going to be productive. Finding ways to let that go and focus on ourselves is one way that we can continue moving forward. Things like lane conditions or field conditions, things that you don't have control over, can easily cause frustration. But that frustration, that negativity, isn't going to be productive because it's not going to change anything. So by not focusing on that and focusing instead on your mechanics, on the things that you can control, on making your best shot, on doing the best job you can, will make those problems seem a lot smaller than they are if we're obsessing over them. Previous games and future games, we also have no control over. What's happened already is in the past. There's no changing it, and the only thing we can do is learn from it and move forward. Future games have not happened yet. There's nothing that we can do about them right now other than prepare for them. But thinking about them, talking about the opponents that we will be facing, their abilities, whether good or bad, isn't going to change that. And the same goes for previous shots, both good and bad. Again, nothing is going to change those past shots, and being upset about them isn't going to be productive and isn't going to help you move forward. So learning to let them go, or at the very least, use them as learning opportunities to make the next one better, is really the only thing that you can do in those moments. Future shots apply as well. One of the worst things that we can do if we have a good game going is start obsessing about the end, the outcome. A bowler who's shot 6 strikes in a row and is already thinking about the possibility of shooting a 300 when they still have 6 strikes to go is only going to be unfocused, thinking about things that they cannot control yet instead of focusing on their next shot. So by focusing just on the one shot we have in front of us, none of them in the past, and none of the future ones that we need to hit some unspecified benchmark, is not going to be helpful or productive. Anything really in regards to the scoreboard or the leaderboard, where you are compared to others, you have no control over. You could shoot your best game of your life and someone else could still outscore you. And that is just the way that it works. So by looking at it and talking about it and thinking about what you need to do to maintain your position is only going to serve as a distraction. Staying focused and staying in the present moment is the only way to counter that. And sometimes things happen and there are setbacks that we just don't have control over. Lane breakdowns, delay of game, whatever it might be that can throw off our rhythm, throw off the groove that we were in. There's nothing that we can do to change time and prevent that from happening. So trying to focus on what we can do now and move forward and continue performing well is the only thing that we can do to counteract those unfortunate instances that come up. Same thing with the equipment that we have, or if our equipment malfunctions. Sometimes we think, I would do better if I only had this piece of equipment. I only had this type of bowling ball instead. But not having it in the moment, there is nothing that we can do that will change that. Or if a piece of equipment breaks, or if it's not working the way that you would like it to, there's nothing you can do in the moment that's going to change that. So by obsessing and getting upset over it is not going to be productive. So looking at all of these things outside of our realm of control, by putting our time and energy and focus into them, is giving them power that they should not have and taking away the power from ourselves. By staying within ourselves, by focusing on what we can control, that is where we see success in athletics. So the next time you find yourself getting upset about something, ask yourself the question, can I change this? Can I control this? And if the answer is yes, ask yourself, what can I do in this moment to push myself forward? And if the answer is no, don't give it the energy, don't give it the attention it doesn't deserve. Focus on what you can, and that's where you will see the success follow.